This episode of Star Wars Republic is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Star Wars Republic. This is the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 6 reactions video we're doing. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burly of Burlyman Gaming. Burly, how you doing, man?
I'm okay. I tossed and turned most of the night, and then got up at 3 a.m. and then tried to go back to sleep. And then you just know when you're lying there and you're like, I can't fall asleep. That was pretty much me. And then it's like with it being snowing and stuff, and I was so tired when I woke up. I was like, screw this, I ain't going outside.
Yeah, so how's the weather condition right now? Because I remember yesterday you were telling me that there was some kind of blizzard type of conditions coming through or something.
We got about 4 inches of snow last night. It's still snowing, and it's supposed to stop snowing, I think, till at like Friday by 8 a.m. Friday.
Wow, I see. Okay.
So yeah, anyone that doubts Canada's in winter.
Yeah. Out here in the Tokyo area, we still haven't gotten a snowstorm yet. We're still waiting for it, but it's probably going to come in another week or two. We'll probably get our first.
If you want snow, I'm great. I'll graciously send you some.
Yeah. Well, usually in the Tokyo area, I mean, we get maybe 2 or 3 snowstorms a year. You know, I mean, all the snow is like up in Hokkaido, up in the northern regions, and the Sea of Japan area. But anyway, so yeah, we got a lot to talk about in this episode. So before we start, just want to let all of you patrons and everybody else that's going to be watching this when it goes to the public, this is a spoiler episode. Spoiler reactions to Chapter 6 of the Book of Boba Fett. Okay, so I want to let everybody know now, this is a spoiler episode of our reactions to the episode. It's all spoilers. If you have not watched Chapter 6, please go watch the chapter and then come back and watch our video. Okay, so I'm telling you now, I'm giving you plenty of warning here. This is a spoiler episode. Okay. All right, so let's get into it, Burly. So Chapter 6, titled "From the Desert Comes a Stranger," and boy, did a stranger ever come. We'll get to that, but anyway, we begin, of course, back on Tatooine, of course, and good old Cobb Vanth, aka the Marshal. So if you've seen, The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1, obviously, the Mandalorian and the Marshal, have their dealings. But we see him at the beginning, and he's dealing with some spice, with the syndicate, the Pike Syndicate. Some of these guys are on like one of those traditional land speeders that we see from Episode 4, A New Hope. And he doesn't like what they're doing, and he's like telling them to get the hell out of there. What'd you think of this scene, Burly?
I like the scene. It was nice to see. I was wondering if, because they brought Mandalorian back, are they going to bring him back?
Yeah,
it was nice to see him back, and just him basically tell them, like, I'll leave. If you guys pack up and leave now, I will chalk this up. You guys got lost on the map, and you'll be good, and I'll be good. He gave them an out. 3 out of 4 of them decided, we could just shoot this motherfucker. And then he just like, you guys don't worry. Boom, boom, boom. He kills 3 of them. The last one, he's like, really think before you act right now. The last one's like, good.
Yeah.
And then he leaves that guy that runs. They lets live. He goes and
Mhm.
looks, see what they were holding, because he didn't care. He
Yeah.
necessarily didn't care. He just wanted them out because he doesn't want trouble in his town.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then he sees Spice, and he knows. He's like,
Right.
oh shit, if it's coming out here, it's not good.
Right, and that Pike Syndicate guy was saying to him that, "Hey, this spice box here, what's inside that box is, it it could buy your whole town and more." You know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he takes off, and then of course the marshal kicks over the box, and all the spice comes running out of it. So yeah, and then of course after that we get back to Mando again. I'm like thinking as soon as we get back to Mando and he's flying to that planet, the first thing I'm thinking is, oh no, we're not going to get Boba Fett at all in this episode either. It's
Yeah,
going to be
I
just
was thinking,
they're just forgetting about Boba Fett, and they're just it's the Mandalorian season 3 basically. And then the second thing I was thinking, okay, so they're picking up where they left off in the previous episode where Mando's like I'm gonna go visit my little friend. So obviously he's going to visit Grogu. And this planet is really interesting. It kind of reminds me not of Dagobah, obviously, which was Yoda's homeworld, I guess, but it kind of reminds me of the planet in episode 7, at the end of episode 7 and episode 8. I think it was Octo, where Luke was in hibernation, or he was
okay.
trying to live out the rest of his days. It kind of reminded me of Octo a little bit, but yeah. So Mando goes there, and R2 is like waiting for him as he lands, and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. But yeah, he doesn't R2 doesn't take him to see Grogu right away. Where does he take him, Burley?
Takes him aside, it takes him a different route, and he ends up running into Ahsoka, which you remember she was in Mandalorian season 2.
Yep.
Which I kind of figured if they're gonna go, because he's gonna go see Luke, I
Yeah.
figured they're gonna bring her back.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
it's nice to see her and them have them meet and do their little conversation.
Yeah,
And he's
obviously.
like, oh, you're not training? She's like, I'm not meant to train. That's Master Luke's job.
Yeah. But like it was interesting. It's like he's like laying down there waiting, and it's like it was cool how all those robots were, those spider robot kind of things were picking up all the stones and then putting them into place to build that stone temple. I guess Luke's new Jedi temple. And I wonder if that's the temple or part of it that gets destroyed when we see in episode 8 the flash, or the in episode 7 I think it is, the flashback where Luke is watching the temple burn down, I think with when Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren came and wiped everybody out and then burned it to the ground. I think that might have been it. I'm not sure, but or it, yeah.
It's quite possible. I would
Yeah.
imagine that probably is.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to want to stay away from any connection to the Last Jedi.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's way too early for that anyway. I mean, this is like probably decades before that anyway. So, but
Okay.
yeah. So, but I liked what Ahsoka said to Mando. Mando, he like pops out the gun, and it's like I wasn't expecting to see you here. And then of course Ahsoka says, oh,
Mhm.
let's just say I'm good friends of the family. Speaking of the Skywalkers, because obviously Anakin was her master. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, he goes there, and obviously he's trying to deliver the little, the gift, that had been made by the armor in the previous episode. But then, Ahsoka basically kind of talked him out of it. Talked him out of going up there and actually, showing himself to Grogu, because it's like, we get this sense of the attachment thing, and of course, and they're still using that with the Jedi in the Mandalorian and in Book of Boba Fett and everything, where the Jedi, they separate themselves from any attachments, you know, because that's basically what led Anakin to the dark side, obviously, but so yeah, it was interesting how Ahsoka was able to talk Mando out of going up there. It's like, are you doing this for Grogu or are you doing this for yourself? So yeah,
And,
I thought
and
that
you
was
could
pretty interesting. Yeah.
and you could tell when she spelled that to him, he's like, fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I came all this way.
Hey,
It's like,
came
yeah.
all this way. I got this armor. I got kicked out by the last of my religious people.
Right.
I wanted to see my little buddy,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that
But
I they're saving that reunion for season 3. Let's not kid ourselves. There will be a reunion.
or maybe chapter 7, the final episode of the Book of Boba
Yeah,
Fett. Who knows?
because like
Yeah.
almost a third of this series hasn't been on Boba Fett.
Right. Right. Right.
It's just like,
Yeah.
but I did like the montage we got with Luke and Grogu training, and
Yeah.
then early
Yeah.
on in the training, they're just sitting there, just praying and meditating,
And then the
and the
frogs. Yeah.
frogs. And Grogu, you
Yeah.
knew what was coming,
Yeah.
and Luke just knew. So
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. And then I love how Luke started playing with him after that. And so he starts using the force, and then all of the frogs start coming up in the air, and you see Grogu's eyes just, ooh,
Mouth
and then
is
then
all
he drops him. Yeah.
yeah, the childlike lumber. And then you
Yeah.
get a
Yeah.
little bit because of during this training stuff. You do get a little Grogu's past. You see
Right.
three Jedi protecting him against a
Yeah.
battalion of clone troopers,
Yeah.
and the Jedi fall,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make any clear. It doesn't give us any clearness of did the Imperial did they capture him or did Grogu just get away somehow?
Well, obviously he had to have gotten away, but the question is, who got him out? Who was able to save him or to hide him? That's the major question here. We don't know, but yeah.
Cal got him.
Cal
It's
got
not.
Grogu, huh?
It's gonna all tie into Jedi
Cal
Fallen Order
Kestis,
too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe, who knows? Yeah,
him and Beatty.
yeah, who knows? But yeah, so that was pretty cool. We get this little flashback from Order 66 and everything, and so yeah, I mean, and then obviously, Luke and Ahsoka, are talking, and before that, it was pretty cool. The little ball that's in the air that blasts out the little laser blast, kind of another ode to A New Hope, when Luke started training with Obi-Wan, the older Obi-Wan, and he had the orb, floating in the air, and then having to deflect the laser beams with the lightsaber. But of course, Grogu just jumping around on the rocks and everything, and dodging it, and then
Getting
of
him
course
to.
using the force and destroying it, and then Luke is all very good. Yeah. So
Oh, I
yeah,
like it because just a little bit before he's trying to get him to do the high jump, and he's like, "There's no try, just do." You're
yeah,
trying too
yeah,
much, like doing the stuff from Yoda taught him.
yeah,
So I do love that you're getting the parallels, and then you get the later on as they're doing this like training montage. You see him just carrying Grogu in the backpack, and Yoda. Luke doing the jumps
right,
and flips like he
yeah,
did in
and Empire Strikes
Eps-
Back. Yeah,
Attack.
yeah,
Yeah. So it was
yeah,
kind of like, oh, this is nice. This is the
yeah.
reference, giving you little tidbits,
Oh, there were
memories.
so many references to a lot of a lot of previous Star Wars films and the animated series, as well, as we're going to get to later on. But anyway, so uh obviously, of course, Mandalorian or Mando, he leaves and he goes back to Tatooine, and finally we get Boba Fett. Only one scene in the entire episode with Boba Fett, and they're in the room there in Jabba's old palace. And of course, Mando comes into the landing, area, and then he goes up and meets them, and they're discussing, their plans as to how to go about taking on the Pikes and everything. Of course, Chrysanthemum, the Wookiee, and Mando are there now, so they could provide the muscle around the streets. But then, of course, Mando says, I think I can help with getting some more, people to help, and then that's basically all we saw of Boba Fett again,
Yeah,
just
but before we move on, yeah, like
go ahead.
this is still ticks me off that this is called the Book of Boba Fett. Last episode you didn't have him at all.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
Mandalorian episode. This is half a Mandalorian, Grogu, and other stuff
Well,
episode.
this was a
As
Jedi episode.
yeah, this is
This
Jedi
was
episode.
Luke and Grogu basically, and his
Yeah,
training.
with other characters dispersed in. But it's like,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah,
you
yeah.
you could have made this a one shot thing of a different thing, not called it Book of Boba Fett,
Right.
and it would have fit better because this just now like when I've had people be like, oh, so how was it? Because one guy hasn't watched it, he's thinking of watching it, and he's like, because I hear a lot of talk about episode 5 and 6. I'm like, well, if you like The Mandalorian, you're gonna like these two episodes a lot. If
Yeah.
you don't,
Right.
uh,
Right.
you're,
So
you're, you're
yeah.
gonna. But I do like when they're talking and their stuff, and you get the mayor's assistant in the background. He's like, we don't know the mayor did, and they're all just like, I think the one Gamorrean hits him. It's like, yes,
Yeah, it just pulls them aside like, "Rrr," and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but they do their planning, and obviously, of course, as we move on in the chapter, then Mando goes on to see the marshal again, and to, of course, ask a favor.
Hmm.
And he buys him a drink, and they're talking there, and that bartender guy, he's like, it's called Freetown now. Like, Mando's like, what? It's like Freetown, you know, and he's like, that problem is for city folk, not for people here.
And
I'm like,
Mando's
dude,
tried to reason with them and be like, they when they're done with there, they're not going to stop. They're going to
right,
go all over,
right,
and you can see the marshals like, fuck, I really don't want to go into this confrontation, but I need to, but I kind of have to because he knows they've already come out already once and he's dealt with them.
yeah,
He doesn't want to keep going, and he knows if they fail, it's just going to come to his doorstep. And he's going to have no allies.
right, right,
So it's
yeah.
it's going to be like, ugh.
So yeah, so the marshal is like, let me see what I can do, and he'll talk to the townspeople and all, and so Mando takes off, and then in the distance, it's funny. It's like right after Mando leaves, this happens. Like
Yeah.
right in the distance comes, this mysterious figure with a hat that looks like Clint Eastwood's hat, from the Sergio Leone movies, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
and it's Cad Bane. And for all of you that don't know who Cad Bane is another bounty hunter, who supposedly was even better than Boba Fett. And he and Boba Fett had a fight in the Clone Wars, and I think he's the one that's responsible for that big dent that's on Boba Fett's helmet.
Huh?
So, oh yeah, so yeah,
Because I was gonna say I know nothing of this character, and I knew this character.
yes,
I knew
he
this character showed up in other stuff
yeah
because I
he's
saw
been
after the episode the character's name trending.
he was in the Clone Wars animated series, and he was also in the Bad Batch, which is the previous, like the newest animated series that has come out, and he was responsible for kidnapping Omega, and Omega is supposedly Boba Fett's clone sister. So that's interesting because maybe we'll get some information in the Book of Boba Fett if it continues, on this. But yeah, he comes in, boy, and oh yeah, he is a menace. And yeah, so another character from the animated series that has been put into canon now. And this is all on Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni, of course, is the mastermind behind the animated series and everything. So bringing Cad Bane in is really cool. And so yeah, they have an exchange, him and the marshal, and then of course the marshal's deputy. What an idiot, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. The marshal's deputy, but I love how the guy walks in. Is like, whatever Boba's paying you, we'll pay you double just to stay out of it.
Yeah,
And he's like, the city's already to the pikes. Just stay out and be happy.
yeah,
And you can just tell the marshal's just like, right, I'm gonna have to deal with this guy because he knows if I let this guy go,
yeah,
or if I take their deal, they're
yeah,
just gonna outgun us after the city stuff.
yeah,
He knows. And then his deputy just comes out and he's like, "You need thing." He's telling his deputy, "Get in, you moron! Get in."
yeah. And then he's an idiot, and then he draws
Mm-hmm.
first, and Bane just takes out the marshal and the deputy, just kills the deputy. We don't know if the marshal is dead. I mean, the townspeople came out and it looked like they were tending to him, so maybe he survived. Who knows? Maybe we'll find out.
If he
Yeah,
survives, he's gravely injured. He can't battle,
right,
but
right.
he'll be, people be like, they damaged our marshal, or they killed him.
Yeah, and he'll be able
We're
to
rally his people.
Let Mando know, the description of this person. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, and then he just walks away. He just walks away. I mean, yeah, he's
Oh,
coming back. Cad Bane is gonna, be a major, figure, I think, moving forward. The major adversary of Boba Fett and maybe Mando going into Mando season 3. So yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. So, and then anyway, before we finish, we get back to the planet where Luke and Grogu are training. Luke's training Grogu, and of course, Luke decides, because Ahsoka had told him to trust his instincts, so he uses his instincts, and I don't know if this was the right thing. I'll ask you this, Burley. But the final scene, he puts out the Mandalorian's gift, which was a little like
chain.
shirt of the
It's a chain.
Beskar.
It's basically chainmail.
Yeah. And then, of course, Luke opens a box and shows Grogu Yoda's lightsaber, and it's interesting. Where did Luke find
When
Yoda's lightsaber, or did somebody find it and give it back to him? I mean, because obviously it was on Coruscant, because in Episode 3, when Yoda and Darth Sidious were fighting each other, of course he lost it.
yeah.
So whether Luke's been back to Coruscant or not, who knows, or if it was given to him by someone else. But anyway, he gives Grogu a choice. You take the gift, you go back and you stay with Mando, or you take the lightsaber and you become a student of mine and you become a great Jedi. So, and then of course, Grogu's face at the very end, the very last, scene, he's like, what should I do?
Okay.
So
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you think, Burley? I mean, do you think this was the right thing for Luke to do, or,
Well,
yeah.
I think it was the right thing for Luke, because
Uh-huh.
if you don't give him if you hide Mando's gift, he's gonna be sad, and if he finds
Right.
it, he's
Right.
just gonna
Right.
run off. You have to give the choice.
Yeah.
The jet, like, I'm not a fan of the Jedi, but you have to give him the choice. Give him the ability to choose his path in life.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Where he got that lightsaber, plot convenience.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But
Well,
so
it's just like episode 7 of finding, where she's like, here's Luke's Jedi old
yeah,
lightsaber, and even
yeah,
Han asks, "Boss, how the hell did you get this?" And
yeah.
she's like,
So
"Plot convenience."
yeah. So I mean, this leaves the big cliffhanger for either Mando season 3 or next week, and I think it's going to be next week. I think we're going to figure out what happens.
Yeah,
Whether Luke
I
takes him
think I
back
think
to
it's
Mando or
I think it'll be at the end of, the episode, like either after the episode's finished and in the credits, or just
uh-huh.
near the end.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's what it'll be.
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, good stuff. I mean, this for all of you that are lovers of the, the original trilogy, and of course, those of you that are really into the animated series as well. I mean, this was a lot of fan service, and yeah, bringing a lot of some of these characters to canon now. So, yeah, and of course, getting to see more of Luke, and then of course his interactions with Ahsoka were really cool. So, and little tidbits to Episode 4 and Episode 5 as well. So, yeah, great episode. I mean, not so much for Boba Fett, obviously, because we only got about 1 minute of him in the episode. But yeah, nonetheless, it was a great episode, I think. And yeah, we shall see what happens in the final episode next Wednesday. So, and we will be bringing you our final reaction for season 1 of the Book of Boba Fett next week. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that here on Star Wars Republic. So, I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burly of Burleman Gaming. So take care, and we're all excited to see what happens next week in the finale. So we'll be bringing you our reactions to that next week. So this, of course, will go up to Patreon in early access for our patrons for the first 2 days, and then it will go up to the public after that. Okay, so thank you so much, and have a great week, and may the force be with you, and we will see you next week for our season finale episode of the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 7. Okay, so take care, everyone. Peace out.
Remember, the Sith were right.